Y'all, infidels here live, youtube.com/MROVW, free at hackerhamin.podbean.com, infidels, because we're the billboard killers. No Team Eller, the Famos, ammo. It's every channel. We've been hot for a long time, burning like a candle. Here at HMG, infidels, get ready because the impact is about to attack, and we are back. RBV, Hacker Hamin, y'all. Yes, good morning to you. Appreciate my super producers having each other's back as Big Ray's feeling a little under the weather this morning. Wishing him the best. Get that OJ in you, bro, and get some rest. Get that nighty-night quill. He sounded pretty rough. And thank you to RBV, super producer, doing the run-in here, man, when I need him the most. The crowd popped huge. Who's it going to be? It's RBV. Good morning, buddy.
Hey, card subject to change. You always bring your gear, right?
That's
always
right,
be ready to go, ready to flow. So yes, well, I guess a little false advertising. You're not going to get Big Ray, but you're going to get Big Ric Hernandez, the other reporter of the people, here to stay to talk a little lucha libre.
I like
professional wrestling for you out there.
We'll do his lines. We'll do them all, man. But yeah, Big Ray, feel better, man. I saw some good pictures. Always gets me, makes me happy. I just told them they're a bunch of punks, but RBV and Big Ray getting together last week, so RBV can, or excuse me, BRV could give him, Billy Ray Valentine could give him a lowdown on the Rodecaster Pro and hooked him up with a new mic. I know he's excited, so I'm sure he's disappointed that today he wasn't able to use that. So still waiting for the debut back together again. But man, thank you very much for all you've been doing, and great job with the social media team and just getting all the shows out there and great graphics and promoting everything, Rick. I really appreciate you, man.
Hey, no problem. The team, you talk about coming together, gelling, everybody having each other's back. We're roaring into March. We're not ready to stop. But hey, I guess to pimp a little bit of my side projects there, it's Wednesday, and you know what that really means. It means new content over at the Two-Man Power Trip Patreon. So that's patreon.com/TMPT Empire. So you can go ahead and check that out. All the great tiers. And then, of course, this Saturday coming up on the Two-Man Power Trip Empire Patreon, we got the a relaxed roundtable Q&A with legendary trainer Dr. Tom Pritchard. He has said that there will be it's no holds barred. You can ask away and even pause through it out there. Say, well, something's got to be off limits, right? What about something about Brother Brucey? He said, bring it. So right. we can get into the mess that is the current landscape in WWE.
Yeah, so man, I'd be
interesting time
with the lockdown of the creative team. So not even telling producers and what that's all about. I might have to join in on that again. When is that going down?
That'll be this Saturday, March 6th, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can go ahead and get signed up on that again over on Patreon. Just give a search for the Two-Man Power Trip Empire, and it's in our Legends House Party tier.
Wow, what an awesome experience, man, with Two-Man Power Trip, Dr. Tom. A lot of people, I hear people go, oh, Rip Rogers is a jobber, Dr. Tom's a jobber. Meanwhile, they are attributed by every superstar who's ever become a multimillionaire since the Attitude Era as having the most influence over their careers and putting them on the right path to do so. And that's everybody from the Spirit Squad to Mark Henry. I mean, we're putting out these clips and didn't even tag them. Randy Orton liking a Rip Rogers clip yesterday. Today, Honky Tonk Man retweeting. Like, people have so much respect for both Dr. Tom and Rip as the best trainers on the planet. The best. There's a lot of great guys running schools out there, Booker T and, obviously Dustin and over in UK, a lot, even Rip Rogers guys and Nick Dinsmore, Mr. OVW as well, but wouldn't have that knowledge without either of those guys.
Why do you think, before we, dive in some of the headlines there and get into the review for Impact, why do you think that it kind of seems that it's particular to pro wrestling where that great coach doesn't get that same respect as you see like in football or basketball, where maybe they didn't have the most stellar of on the field, on the court careers? Mm-hmm. Not saying that Dr. Tom and Rip didn't. They just had different roles. They weren't that marquee main eventer. But you see so much praise for coaches that maybe that weren't the Hall of Famer, the Pro Bowlers, the All Stars in the other games.
True students of the game. learning from guys who, Rip's mentors were Roddy Piper, Adrian Street, and Macho Man Randy Savage. Like, lived with Savage in the Pafos, so there's so much it's just not Rip's knowledge that you're getting Angelo Poffo, you're getting from around the world traveling how to work different crowds. And just because this is what it is, the marks don't know, they're marks, they don't know shit. They think based on somebody's phony ass push, that's how well, Ric Flair's the greatest wrestler. That's only because everybody laid down for him. Ric Flair could get his ass beat and fucking pinned by 90% of the roster, probably, to be honest with you. But in the fans' eyes, he's great because somebody else went out there and made him look great and let him go over strong on them. So those are the guys who have the influence, and the proof's in the pudding. Like I said, from everybody from Shelton Benjamin to Spirit Squad to Mark Henry to Randy Orton. Like, what else do you want? Like, if people are still making that argument, oh, he was never champ, he never worked here or there, you're a stupid ass Mark who doesn't know shit about shit. And we just laugh at you behind your back. We just laugh and go, oh, that's who they are. They don't know nothing. Their opinion's worthless to us. It's not, it doesn't even affect us.
It's exact truth that you're speaking. It's just a shame, for the recognition and the respect from the masses that they have.
Pat McAfee to shout him out at the end of a thing that we have to clip to do it, and that just burns Triple H's ass. It burns all of their asses, bro. Like, Khan wants to blackball Rip because he would shit on the product, and then he puts over Serena matches and shows what it really should be as a breakdown, but they don't want to hear any criticism that shows a bad light on them because they think they're geniuses and they've got this whole thing wired. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Rip and Dr. Tom do. So does Arn, so does a lot of those guys, but they don't even listen to JR when he's on their roster and he's telling them. So that's all on them 100%. If you're not going to listen to your mentors and apply the craft to protect it, and you just want to use the business has changed, it's evolving, that's a lie. That's a bunch of bullshit. That's all because they don't want to put the work in to become a better performer, that they think they're up here and that they're marks. And because they're looking at Rip and Dr. Tom like, what the fuck do they know? That to me shows how many marks there are in this business who have no clue and shouldn't have a spot. And some of them have TV spots. That's how stupid they are.
Well, I think one of the most powerful statements that I've heard from one of our own brothers on HMG just about our platform. And really, when you're looking for that good knowledge, that true know-how in pro wrestling, we're the network, we're the platform where the pros go to learn.
You got it.
And that's in due to all, our amazing personalities that we have. And to put that out there, it was BRV himself. And, that was, I think that was a pretty impactful, no pun intended, statement there where the pros go to learn.
I agree, man. Definitely just shut up and listen. You're getting a free education at hackerhamin.podbean.com that a lot of us paid top dollar for, but we want to preserve that knowledge, and that's what we're here to do. Thanks to Frank's Pickle Barrel. Thanks to Frank John to putting over that PW Hustle. No, excuse me. Sorry, Pro Wrestling 101. Jumped in for Just Incredible. Had the opportunity again with JP John Paz over there, the hardest working man at Russo brand apparently, and it was good, man. It was another good show. I was a little trepidatious on this one because it's about being in ring shape, which I'm no body guy, and I preface it with that, but I've also been the big fat guy and had to lose weight to get back to in ring shape. But then we talk body guys. I live with plenty of them, and it's not even really about the physique as it's about hardening your ability to take pain and working through it. And the only way to do that is ring time. Everybody who's going to come back from the indies when we get back is going to be hurt in those first 2 to 3 months, bro, just because unless you've been training where you have a ring where you can stay in ring shape and take those bumps. I mean, working out is good, and that's what I've been doing, but until you do that first flip bump, that first hip toss, that first power slam, that first front buckle, and your chest fucking gets drilled, and you feel the air go out of your lungs. There's no training for that. Go out and run into a tree as hard as you can, I guess is like about it, man. But we have a good conversation there, and I really 3 for 3 I think on that Pro Wrestling 101 with JP. I like that show. I like the setup of it, and I always have a good time working with him, man.
some quality stuff. I get the backstage access to that, so I've been able to check those out. Some great conversation, and that's available over on the Realm. I believe that's just on the $4.99 tier, correct? And they can get that along with just countless content, incredible content.
Honored to jump in for Justin when I can. That's no easy role to fill, so I try and hopefully do as much. But I was like, "You want me for body guy?" And I go, "Wait, Justin's fat as fuck right now. I'm fat. It's fine. Justin would have done nothing I didn't do. But hopefully everything's good with him, and just great crossover once again as you're helping to manage the two-man Power Trip brand. And that's what it is. When he needs an ace in the hole, that's what JP now has us as his back. Instead of him sweating, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Dude, you just send the text. We'll find somebody to drop in there. That's we got your back. And it's been a great experience every time with him, man.
Well, let's shift gears back to the marks, but the real world marks. It was just about just a little over 48 hours ago. We were having this conversation. Cancel culture at it again, where they were going after the Muppets, as they have. There's a warning label now attached in front of the Muppet shows that they might contain some offensive material.
Yeah.
Since then, Ben, we've had
game paid ahead where you can't call them man or woman or Mr. And now we've got 6 fucking Dr.
Seuss. And now they're going after the most inquisitive little curious guy, Curious George, is now being taken to task. Is the claim, the one with the Dr. Seuss, you had 6 books there that are showing hurtful imaging that could go across the board, from sexism to racism to culture classification.
First things is a misdirection spot. So they're pulling whatever they want to over here. New bombings in Iraq, blast the shit out of Syria. People not talking about the money that we were supposed to get 2-3 months ago as they've shut everything down. Texas opening up fully, and they don't want to acknowledge that, of what that's going to be in a rebel yell in America as well. So let's do something that's going to get water cooler talk where it's going to go, oh my God, did you see that? And now we're not talking about this. We're talking about this dumb shit. When all that really needs to be done is go to the foundation of who's getting these stories over, who the tiny minority is that in some PR firm that is probably a CIA op as well, to get these stories out there into the mainstream through Operation Mockingbird to eat up the news feed. All we need to do is focus in and identify those people and then put them to death. You put 2 of them down and have them assassinated, and I guarantee the rest will fall the fucking line, because whatever this is and what they're trying to do to reshape society for a 0.0001 minority, that if they're offended, the rest of us have to change our confines. No, like this is coming to a halt very quickly, and it's going to end in a way that's not going to be pretty. Like, these people who want to act like they're open-minded and they're all free forward and thinking are doing they're doing the exact modern, as Crow 777 would say, it's not just a catchphrase anymore, the modern day book burning. You are not, you're like, I hate the word Nazi, not because of what it meant in history or anything along those lines, because it's so overused as just a throw at somebody as a fucking dismissive thing. But the actual actions of putting people on lists for inoculation, that's what they're doing in Israel. So the police will come and knock on your door to make sure you've taken this vaccine from the New World Order. You think if anybody never wanted to be on a list again, it would be Jews in Israel, and they're the ones perpetuating it. We're taking down the library of man, even at the lowest level of children's books, for whatever reason they want to do misdirection and all that kind of stuff. That's true Nazism 101, so I have no quarter for those people, and everyone who's behind it, from the gay mafia to the Jewish mafia, who are the controllers of Hollywood or the media or whatever they want to do. All we got to do is name them, target them, and put the fear into them. They should never sleep again. Never. Until they throw themselves out the window. But, pretty much that's what it has to come down to, because whatever little stranglehold this cabal has, as we've reset the needle on the record from 2020 back to 2016, It's right off to the races. $4 gas in California, 40 cents gas more here, tax in New York, this, that, and the other. Meanwhile, Cuomo's trying to stick his tongue down interns' throats and shit. They just build that gallows from January 6th again. And this time we use it a couple times. Send a message.
Well, I say some of those stories that are out there. It's cancel culture is a distraction device here. You've got keep your eye out there for. I'm not seeing it anywhere on these manipulated mainstream medias. The Khashoggi report, where they have pretty much pinpointed that we got the order from the High Prince for the execution. You've got things going on here where
kayfabe.
They're going to bury this Johnson & Johnson vaccine because it's not getting those at the top rich, because it's coming from an outside source. But keep on being distracted by this cancel culture.
Androgynous potatoes, canceling children's books, and what was the other one that they're Curious George, because it was I'm sure an African American is representative of the symbolism, and a white man, and da 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 da. So they're going to do that.
The white man in the yellow hat housing and taking care of a monkey from Africa.
And it's as simple as that, So no one looks at Curious George as the bottom line for their racist, and race baiting. But this is where we're at, bro.
That one did it got me when I saw it, and I was a little peeved because it's Curious George is one of the things with my nephews. They're 3 and 6 years old, and when I get to spend time with them, I enjoy it because, Uncle Ricky, let's watch George. It's one of the few shows they're allowed to watch that I can tolerate. So it's something we can bond over. And now it's, I guess I'm a bad role model for them.
You want an investment is go find those 6 books and the Curious George books and buy them, because then, like anything in Americana, like if you want to flip something, when they banned Twinkies, what was a box of Twinkies going for at one time?
Oh, I mean, you could find them, on the online auctions up in the hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, just because you're fucking with Americana and people will see what's going. So if you got an Ollie's or whatever discount store near you, and you can go get those books before they stop printing them, hold on to them, or for another month as people lose their mind, you might be able to flip all 6 of those books at $100 a pop. You know what I mean? Just because people are like, you're not taking away my normal. Well, what's the price on that? So there'll be hustlers and gangsters out there, because we're talking about emotion. The number one most powerful motivator in marketing is to tie an emotion to a product, because then we're not worried about the product. We've already got the person with a dopamine hit, good or bad, to have a reaction off of something. And then we just slide the product in, and they're looking for a solution to calm themselves down or enhance that thrill. And our product does that. And once we've tied it that way, that's the entire basis of marketing, which also goes back to Nazi mind control that we brought over from Operation Paperclip, and was also plugged right into commercialization in the early TV programming era. So, and it's not me just blowing smoke here. This is all the research. You can go look it up yourself. I quantify it very simply and very angrily and toxically in a 2-minute diatribe, but this is years and years of looking at the evidence. So if you don't believe me, do it for yourself. You know what I mean?
The interesting stat here on Dr. Seuss, though, in 2020, Dr. Seuss was the second highest earning dead celebrity, $33 million before taxes. Number 2 only to Michael Jackson.
Yeah, well, both are dealing with kids most of the time. But yeah, Dr. Seuss, a legacy, and not just Americana, in the world, So what are they trying to do? This isn't like they really believe that. This is attack on thought. This is attack on, can we reshape your children at their lowest level, mind level? And what are they going to replace it with? They're going to come out with a whole new set of bi-curious books. And we have these professors.
Go bi-curious, George.
Yeah, from Pennsylvania, who are talking about gender assignment therapies for kids that are under 8 years old. Like right there's your target one. That guy should never sleep again. People should be going by his house 2 a.m, honking the horn, the whole 9, just like expose them. If you want cancel culture and to out people, it's people like that are trying to undo the foundation of principles of mankind, and they shouldn't sleep.
Well said. Well, let's talk about wrestling on the move. We didn't have the details on Monday. We were talking about this, Ben. You hit a home run. You hit the marks on this one.
I wish I wasn't, right, but I've been in this game long enough that you kind of know what's coming,
Of course, we're talking about the NWA. Everybody was wondering what was going on with the promotion. They had removed all of their content from YouTube. Looked like they were kind of shutting down other social media platforms. They did announce that they were going to have tapings beginning later this month, and they had reached a new distribution deal. We now know who that is with. They're going behind a paywall with Fight.
I think, good for them, dude. And the YouTube model was all right to kind of open the forbidden door or just get in the conversation, but they weren't doing more than, I think, like 250,000, 270,000 views. All that, it doesn't really equate to the type of AdSense or paid for advertising that's going to be able to keep the doors open there. But it might entice somebody to be a buyer. I'm sure they've tried to shop it to the big ones, but in the end, it goes to Fight TV and kind of not gets lost in the wrestling shuffle. That's what Fight TV is supposed to be about, Fight Sports, and it's good. And congratulations to them. I'm sure it's enough to keep the doors open. And if it gets people jobs and paychecks, then by all means, I'm all for it. And, Magnus is going to work hard to make it everything they can and get it to the next level. So I'm happy for them, and I hope they can go from Fight to maybe even someplace else if they get that, enough eyes on them to make it look like a property. I've put this over before. I don't know why Billy Corgan just wouldn't go to Netflix and be like, I'll give you two free concerts, a small private acoustic set, and one big one to put my show on for the next 3 years with a pay. You will pay us for it as well. And because he's got that leverage with his star power. So for Fight, I mean, it's just back to wrestling, but I thought maybe that he would use his leverage to get them to that next level. And that would be a good little program for Amazon Prime or Netflix, or even, well, obviously Hulu and Peacock now know as their NBC properties, but that deal could have got done, but they're at Fight and they're back on the road. I don't know about taking everything down from YouTube. I would have had a little bit stronger plan in place than just stripping out everything,
like a transition process to kind of that teaser. Hey, this is where we've been. You got to check out how great we were. We're moving forward. You got to follow us to Fight. I did notice, though, checking out a few of the circles that I run in with some of the fans there, that there seems to be concern over another streaming service payment, even at $4.99. Do you think this price point could be an issue with them?
I think people are stupid. If you're paying for cable and you have a TV and you're getting whatever your channels are with the pop-up guide and the DVR, I think that's absolutely ludicrous. You should be paying for your internet. And so that's half the price right there. So you go to 60, and internet went from 40 to 60, which is because they know people are fucking them over. And eventually internet will be 120 because you have to cut the cord. You have to get a Roku. You have to learn how to go to Watch Series or AFTA and find these movies, or pay for your Amazon Prime and pay for your Hulu and pay for, if you're not into being a complete pirate, Netflix and whatever. And that's still, if you have your bundled package of subscriptions, they'll probably add to another $40 to what your cable bill is. Is it a pain in the dick? Absolutely. But these mass cable conglomerates been beating the shit out of us for the last 20 years. Cable went from $19 to $120, $140, and they didn't do anything to increase the service or anything along those lines. It's just a greed grab at the end of the day. So why not hit them back with free streaming, whatever you can, from watchwrestling.uno, vipbox.nu, sportsbay.org. And as they think they're slick, as I say these, and they're going to shut them down, another site will pop up. It'll be sportsbay.la. It'll be vip-box.firstrow.me. Like, you're never going to catch us. Your greed will take from the 85% Nancy Brown idiots, but that number decreases as people have had enough because they learn how to pirate and now take these subscription services at $4.99 and still save themselves $30 to $40 from what they would be paying Time Warner, Spectrum, whatever ultimate greed machine is trying to direct TV, so beat the hell out of them is what I say. It might be a little bit of an inconvenience to find your stuff. You have to wait 24 hours till it drops on a free streaming site, but who cares? It's TV. If you're clocking your life by TV, you got bigger problems on what you need to be facing. So stream on, stream away. Stream on, stream away.
Well, as we are here on the Impact Attack, it looks like Impact Wrestling is going to get a little company when it comes to pro wrestling on Tuesdays. As we got rumors out there, it looks like it's going to be official here that NXT is going to be moving to Tuesday nights in early April. You have the AEW fans; they're trying to hang their hat on a victory here that they ran the development brand off, but it looks like in reality this is a bigger picture issue where NBC, the parent company, they got to deal with the NHL, and then you're also going to be running into deals with the Olympics here into the summer months. So it just makes sense to make that shift where Tuesday isn't as crowded or as busy, contractually obligated night for the network.
Yeah, I mean, what people aren't talking about, though, now that the Forbidden Door is open, and this, I just try and look at everything through Sun Tzu, Art of War, Machiavellian Tactics. We talked about AEW moving off a Wednesday to go beat the shit out on Monday, but NXT is moving, and that gives AEW a false positive of, yay, we won. But really, a retreat move and a counterattack is a smart move because AEW's feeling themselves because they've partnered with the Forbidden Door opening and New Japan and Impact. So that's an alliance. So if NXT, which, the marks think it's a third brand and the marks on it probably do too. But really it's a developmental training center. It's not a third brand. So they're competing with the school and thinking they're over. But if you use the school as a weapon, now let's retreat, give them a false sense of it, and they'll stay on Wednesday night instead of coming at us on Monday. So we've insulated ourselves from any damage that way. Now we go to Tuesday, and if Impact's at 150,000 and NXT is going to run up against them, what do you think's going to happen?
I think NXT is going to grow their audience.
I think maybe by about 50,000. I think Impact's about to go under 100,000, bro, and that means that NXT is just used as a weapon, even though they look soft, to go in and kill the ally. The ally might be done. Khan buys Impact and Impact folds, but then he can put on Tuesday Night Dark or whatever he wants to do. And then you could shift NXT to whatever you want, but it's still a sword to the guts to fucking carve something out here while they're feeling themselves acting like they won over there. So WWE is really, I don't think, sweating that. They might make it look one certain way, but the tactic of moving to Tuesday night is to cut the throat of Impact, and then maybe even have Khan carry a toxic property, which will cost him more money.
I kind of like where you're going there, a little two-edged sword there. Now, in addition to moving NXT, that's going to give this false sense of, I don't know, say, not hope, but success for AEW. What happens, because it's just not, we're inside that wrestling bubble, so it's just, but really that bigger picture is not just about the promotions, it's about the networks. What about whatever USA replaces NXT with starts kicking the shit out of AEW or TNT?
Well, yeah, what is going in that spot? Wrestling or fucking
obviously when they insert anything with the Olympics, it's going to dominate.
Sure.
Now it'll be interesting to see how, if they do go with the NHL, how hockey holds up in that spot. Hey, but I got a feeling that they were, before this Wednesday Night War thing, before wrestling became the Wednesday nights, USA was holding strong in the ratings with running reruns of Modern Family.
Oh, of course, dude. Wrestling is, we draw 1.5 to 2 million tops. The Super Bowl at its lowest this year drew 93 million. That means we're 1/5 50th of the mainstream. So, of course, the Olympics are going to be more mainstream. They're going to kick the shit out of some phony-ass wrestling, dude. So, but shout out to the chat room this morning, 21 strong. I see Big Stevie Cool's in there having a good time this morning, man. Good to see you, Briz, in there. Hopefully you're having a good day. Al Robinson, Mike Roche, Frank's Pickle Barrel, Ass having a good time as well. Who else we got? Ken Sorrell. And Mike Martin's in the house from Indiana. Walrad's always having some good topics of conversation. Paul F., see you too, brother. And so appreciate you guys joining us here on YouTube and hackerhamin.podbean.com if you're listening as well on whatever platform, Spotify. I know there's been issues. Podbean sent me a notice that they had a DDoS attack on them. So there was some issue last week. I don't know if it's still going on or not. We may switch to Spreaker here soon if things keep effing up, but we shall see. What else we have? We had cancellation of books. We had NWA movement was our third one. Or
the NXT. I know you wanted to touch on something with Peacock.
Yeah, Peacock put this out. Peacock releases FAQs, on frequently asked questions on WWE Network move. Peacock became an exclusive streaming home of WWE Network in April. WrestleMania 37 will be streaming on that service. The 2-day event is April 10th and 11th. As noted, WWE's upcoming pay-per-view Fastlane will be available on both Peacock, and WWE Network. Fastlane is on March 21st. WWE programming will be able to watch with an upgraded Peacock Premium for just $4.99 a month. So, question: when will WWE Network be available on Peacock? That'll be Fastlane for March 21st, but it starts March 18th. So it'll become the exclusive streaming home of WWE Network in April. But March 18th, you will be able to get on there for WWE content. What WWE programming will I be able to watch on Peacock? With an upgrade to Peacock Premium for just $4.99 a month, you'll get every live pay-per-view event, including WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, plus WWE, WCW, and ECW pay-per-views in history. Thousands of hours of on-demand programming, including original series, groundbreaking docs, and your favorite shows from the WWE archives. Every episode of Raw and SmackDown with current full episode replays 30 days after. Every episode of NXT, including full episode replays available the next day, plus everything else Peacock has to offer. Tons of hit movies and shows like The Office, Yellowstone, exclusive originals, live sports, and streaming channels. Will I need to pay to watch live pay-per-view events on Peacock? Every live WWE pay-per-view event is included with your $4.99 a month subscription to Peacock Premium. There is no additional cost to watch pay-per-view events. In addition to WWE Network, what else is available on Peacock? All that bullshit I said earlier, plus more. And if you're already a WWE Network subscriber, what should you do? Starting in April, Peacock will be exclusively streaming home of the network. Until then, you can keep watching directly on WWE Network as long as you have an active subscription. You can also create a Peacock account to stream WWE Network on Peacock beginning March 18th. So you can enjoy Peacock on all your devices. Yeah, big cocks on all your devices. I like it. But yeah, man, WWE Network will be done by August. You know, like,
do you think just because using, are there any words, or are they trying to shop internationally? Because I mean, they still need a platform for all of those subscribers. I don't know exactly what those numbers are at right now.
For what? Why would they keep it? Why would they keep
it? Because right now the Peacock deal is exclusive to the United States. So still, even in Canada, the UK, India, wherever else the network reaches, it's still being handled in-house by WWE themselves.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's been a big realignment over at NBC and all that. So, and now they're going to not do ratings, daily ratings. They're going to kayfabe that. So it'll be interesting. But I to be honest with you, it's going to be a losing property for WWE to have the network by SummerSlam. I see everything being infused into NBC by then.
Is this likely an early model hopefully, because they are having some glitches here. I guess they're having trouble, maybe not just even switching content, but users over, because they had promised, hey, you're going to wake up one day and magically be a member of Peacock for half the price. It seems like they've run into some issues there, but if they can, work through.
All you need is a splash page with specific codes to enter. I mean, not easy enough. You'd need a database of who it is to check them off, because you couldn't just put the code out there because everybody would be using it. It gets stooged. Right. But if it auto-generated that in your email, and then you go over and sign up and use that, and you force them to, but the only way you won't get everybody, you might get half, but the only way you're going to get the rest of them is to cut them off cold turkey. And so you got to get rid of the network app.
So as they have this deal with Peacock, they got to be doing this. They're already having conversations with some kind of streaming outlet in the UK, India, wherever it might be, saying, hey, we need you to do what Peacock is doing for us in your area. So that they can end up just, as you said, be aggressive by SummerSlam and dump the whole thing.
Got to, because it'll be a toxic property by them, and it'll be a money loss leader in order to keep it afloat and all that. Really, if they really wanted to force them, especially in this, force them. I like a force them, yeah. But if they wanted to force them, what they would do is an app update, and automatically your WWE app would become Peacock app, and you'd be fucking signed up for that. That way, they have no choice.
I don't know. I was getting to the point, usually after WrestleMania, I cancel the network anyway. I think I'm going to stick around, give Peacock a chance. I think there's enough content there that'll interest me. So,
yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm going to steal all the pay-per-views anyway and illegally stream Raw and SmackDown. So they're not getting a dime from me.
There you go.
So,
I gotta keep my stock up, man. You're killing me. You're killing me, man. Going that underhanded route there.
What are you going to do, man? But that was your...
This is your Impact Attack 3 count. The 3 biggest pro wrestling or world news stories of the day. Now, back to Ben Hamin and Big Ray.
Great voiceover, great little clip.
I was going to say, that guy sounds familiar.
Yeah, but Big Ric Hernandez is in the house today. Appreciate you, bro. So let's run this down. Get in, get out.
Let's get into this Impact for March 2nd, 2021. We're going to get things going here. Let me pull up the results so we can make sure we don't miss anything. We kick off the show, correct, with a number 1 contenders match for the X Division Championship. You have Black Taurus, who was with the Decay. Mm-hmm. You have Ace Austin, who's with Madman Fulton, versus Chris Bay. In this thing, it looks like we got some expected X Division action. Let me ask you real quick, Ben. How do you feel about somebody like Black Taurus, those big men, now so frequently involved inside the X Division?
I don't mind it. Like, it doesn't need to be a 205 live thing. X Division was more hardcore and a stunt show early on. So there is like that quick, high flying, fast styles known in there. But dude, when it comes to Black Taurus, he didn't slow down at all. And I don't know how he manages to wrestle with that goddamn mask on, bro. Like, that would drive me absolutely batshit. But this guy has got unbelievable skills. He's a long-time veteran, 20 years, and it absolutely shows. Like, everybody in this match, Chris Bay, incredibly athletic, and Ace Austin does a great job too with character and being the slimy little scumbag kind of dude. I wish they would have stuck with the banging people's moms fucking gimmick for him.
I was gonna say, it seemed like he had some great character work and development there when he was just kind of that. Really just scum of the earth sleazeball player sleeping around.
Yeah, and he still gets his character over. I just thought there was some fun stuff to mess around with in there that we didn't really go down that road where we could have. Back and forth, dude, there's one spot where Black Taurus just takes a back body drop shit can, and it's a thing of beauty to watch a guy that size be that athletic. It made Chris Bay look strong. And maybe it was a pull down on the rope. I can't remember. But dude, these guys make wrestling look, even though they're doing some spot stuff, it looked like a fight. All these guys have the athleticism in their own way, whether it's the super quickness of Bay, whether it's the character of what's his name, Ace Austin. I always want to call him Austin. But then in Black Taurus was all right, mixed and match with the Hive. I thought they were going to bring in Danhausen, as a character, little dude, and I think he would fit. But Black Taurus, with the hookup that they had in AAA earlier in the year when we were doing COVID shows back in, I think, June, July, we kind of got to see some AAA stuff there from him. So he's got that relationship, and he's a fine fit there. And this match was good. Man, Fulton gets involved at the end. He's dropped weight. He's really working his ass off to look like a top property. So in the end, it was Ace Austin up, though, right?
Yeah, Austin over here. So he will be the #1 contender moving in the challenge for the X Division Championship. Man Fulton last month beating up your boy, Congo Kong, becoming the new Battle on the Border champion here in Southern Ohio.
Well, Kong should have had me there, shouldn't he? I mean,
I told you that I think you'd cramp his style. He's become so beloved by that fan base.
He's beloved, and he lost the title. What does that tell you?
Yeah, you got to get him back on track.
Fuck the fans, slap these infidels in the face, and let's get our gold back, big man. Hackers here got your back, especially against some dude with dreadlocks who looks like half a predator. That don't scare me at all. You can bring all a Rockstar Pro, me and Congo Kong together, run through them all.
There you go. Ben versus Ohio. We've got it there.
Too easy.
Next up, we had the Impact Wrestling Knockouts Tag Team Champions. They were interrupted by Jordan Grace and Jazz. This has happened during the champs taking part in an interview as they were talking about their upcoming challengers.
Yeah, and Jordan Grace kind of takes the lead on the mic here, saying, like, making them look like fans, kind of, and says you can get the platinum package, and that means you get to get in the ring with me. And then the Jazz and Jordan are going to go politic to Scott D'Amore to get in the match, to make it a 3-way tag match at the end for the titles. And then Fire and Desire have their own little, like what are they talking about? And then we're going to go talk to Scott, and they leave. So I was kind of pumped that we were going to get a Scott D'Amore scene with all the girls kind of converging on him, because we've seen Scott handle talent in different ways, baby heel or whatever it is, to soft soap them or work them. So I was excited to see that scene go down, but we never got that scene. They just said they were going to go talk to D'Amore, and then that was it. And the match was kind of made. I wanted to see D'Amore worm his way out of it, and we missed out on that one. But this wasn't a bad little scene by any of them.
So far with the division, I know you ultimately weren't a fan of the decision that they had made to go with the babies as champs. Do you think they have bounced back? Do you think the division's in the right direction? Where would you like to see them go?
Not really, to be honest with you. I think that splitting up Havoc and Nevaeh and not making them champs was a wrong move. I think they should have gone over as strong heels that you need baby faces to climb the mountain to unthrone them. And then I think Fire and Desire would have been over a lot more than just winning those titles at the pay-per-view. I think it really didn't get me. But then there's 15 or 16 things. Maybe, they don't have the budget to bring this person in. Not like any of those girls are, super high priced properties, but there could be 1,000 things, heat or whatever it is that made that decision. And, I don't want to speculate, but as far as business wise goes, it would have been better when you're starting off titles. You don't want to put them on baby faces. You want to put it on heels. That when DCW started, Rip made the Insurgency the champs, because now we can make baby face teams off of our heat. Even if they don't win, we're getting heat, but we're letting people know that we're strong, and those are the baby faces who maybe they might start up the mountain. Maybe it's the mobile homers to unseat us. Maybe it's whoever else, and give them that hope. And we held it for a year until we finally paid it off. And that's how a division is built. And that's how I was taught to do it, by Rob Conway, by Rip Rogers.
It's an interesting take there. So many promoters would kind of feel, let's say that you're crowning a champion at almost like an inaugural event. So you're looking for that emotional feel good moment.
Mhm.
Would you still employ those strategies of, send people home a little angry, a little pissed off, or
Yeah. Absolutely. You build the babies thinking that they're going to go over for the titles and the heels fuck them over. That's what gets people to come back and go, dude, they should have won. No way. Ref, he had his feet on the ropes. Ref, he hit him with the da-da-da, and they win the title. The ref's not going to go, well, this audience member told me you use brass knuckles and now reverse the decision and give them the titles. No, the fuck over is what sells tickets for the long-term storyline. So you want your heels up so babies get their retribution. Yeah, I like that retribution. Write that down. And then, once that's paid off, then you get the ultimate pop from it. But if you just put it on babies, then the heels have no heat. The heels got beat by the babies and you paid off the heat in the first thing instead of long-term build and then pay it off, bro. That's how you sell tickets and do long-term business story arc-wise. In every movie that's halfway worth its salt, action movie, how does it start out? Does it start out with the good guys showing they're good guys doing something, rescuing a baby or a cat from a tree, or does it start out with an inciting incident with the heel doing something bad?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you open up nearly every Batman movie with the Joker killing his parents.
You got it. So it's something bad. You put heat on your heels, make your baby off your heel. You don't make your baby and then because you can't get heat on them, they're already made. See what I'm saying? And they're only going to get made to a certain level. You have to have a top bad guy established in order to have the hero's journey.
As we move on here, we've got Matt Cadoro. He's going to be a special guest referee in a big match coming up between his former friend Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards. Old bad mood Brian. He's been giving it to everybody on the Impact roster. But this week, it seems that with the news that Cadoro is going to be the special referee, he's trying to, chummy with his old buddy.
I think if he goes to Japan, he should call himself Cadoro instead of Cardona. But go ahead.
There you go.
This isn't bad. I like this little scene between them because we had some weird heat and they kind of, it's like, all right, here's Jedi mind wipe. Forget about those two scenes from the last month. And here we get him buddying his, buddy up about, oh, that was a great podcast. And I know what you're trying to do. It's like, well, I got a ref tonight. Can you call it down the middle ish? You know what I mean? So you have Brian Myers leaning toward the heel side, trying to corrupt Cardona, who's his boy, so they can get the win. And there's a little bit of an inside fix in here. So this scene did set up a nice little, let's wait and see what happens during that match. There's going to be an interesting twist somewhere. So that I like this little scene. It did business.
Do you think the move going forward, the money is in Cardona and Myers getting back together?
I would have put them on a run together as the Major Brothers too. I would have put a baby face run on them. Instead, they want to work each other. I got no problem with that. If that's what we're building to long term.
Is that kind of where this came from then? It's just them going to management saying, hey.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
We'd rather square off with one another than, going against other competitors.
Both those guys got enough juice and can politic better than anybody. You're not in WWE for 14 years and not know what the fuck you're doing, bro. When you know when to stay small, you know when not to say shit, you know when your moment is, you know when you have leverage, when you're a good brother. They're so tight with Dreamer, both of them. They just go pitch whatever they want to Tommy.
Then we've got Tennille Dashwood. She's joined. She's with Caleb with a K. She's going over on Jessica Havoc, the big athletic powerhouse.
Yeah.
What'd you think of this one?
This match had some rough spots, and I've been rough on her before, but 2 weeks ago, her match was really good. Like, shockingly good after a series of this girl doesn't get it. She just needs to be a valet. Caleb Connolly comes out in this It's like a newsprint suit, like of old magazines. He just looks like a total douchebag, which is perfect. I mean, he's really in the douchebag mode, and he's not taking that spot from Johnny Bravo, but his character is a different kind of version of the douchebag you want to see get knocked out. But he's not getting his spots in the match where Havoc should be taking him out. He should be taking a bump in order for Emma, what's her name? Tennille Dashwood, Emma, fucking whatever, goes over. There was some sloppy stuff in the middle here where Havoc kind of has to wait for her to like set up offense off the rope. Boy, Havoc's got her head just over waiting for the kick as she runs by her on the pass by, and just phony Mexican bullshit, indie bullshit. There's one spot where and this is where I kind of get hot at things and overbooking of indie stuff. They get J-Hav off her feet, and it's a stack pin, and she puts her feet on the ropes, Emma does, and Caleb Connolly's right there holding the feet on the ropes. 1-2 kick out. Come on, B. No, that's the finish. If it's
there's your heat, right? I mean, that's the
fucking heat. So now the pin means nothing when she goes over earlier, because there's the cheat, and the cheat didn't work. So that's a big mistake. If you're going to do the cheat with the heel and use the manager on top of it, and then it's not the finish, that's wrong.
I even think in that spot there, you're looking for that ultimate heat. And we talked earlier in the show here in marketing, nostalgia is huge.
I got to go here with Chef and Angle. Dashwood's rump looked good. It did, but I think we all need to go back to start using the word rump. That fucking makes me laugh when people call butts rumps.
Rumps. I had that on Monday. A rump roast. Yeah, put it in a slow cooker. You're good to go. Nice and juicy.
Dude, he got a nice rump roast on it. But yeah, man, that's the finish with the heel manager, dude. Just keep it simple, stupid.
That nostalgia, it makes you feel about, at least for me, all of that anger that I felt when Bobby Heenan grabbed the leg of the Ultimate Warrior and Rick Rude fell on top of him to win the Intercontinental Championship. I mean, That's that feeling you associate those together.
And when you see it and then that's not the finish, you feel the bus pass you by. There goes the moment. We're never going to catch it. We know, but hey, you went 2 more minutes and got your shit in. Then that's important. Like they just don't they should watch that back on tape and go, there it was right there. Keep it simple. Like that's the finish. Because now she's strong enough to beat the heel cheat. If anything, you want to do it, it's also the opportunity to get the ref over. Feet on the ropes. Boom. She looks and sees him holding the feet, comes over, admonishes him, and fucking the pin gets broken up that way. That way the heels aren't buried and stupid, and the spot meant something. And now the referee also isn't dumb by missing what was going on and caught the heels cheating.
Well, then, of course, after the match, the heels are going to put the beat down on Havoc, and Nevaeh rushed the ring to make the save.
Why not out there at ringside? We didn't get that set up either. If Caleb Connolly's out there, Nevaeh should have been out in the corner.
Hasn't there been a little tension though between Nevaeh and
saying that she thinks that she should go her own way because she lost 2 or 3 matches, and Havoc was empathetic. No, it's not how it is. We all win and lose. But then Nevaeh's I'm going to go out there and do this myself. Loses to Tennille in that match, which was a very good match. And then, I don't know, I didn't watch last week, so I could be talking out my ass because I had the show got covered last week. So maybe there was something that's set up for this with more dissension, and I just missed it. So I don't want to say there's a hole in their storyline when I missed a week.
Now we talk about not essentially heat, but there's heat here, but Impact heating up. Former Impact Wrestling heavyweight champion Sami Callihan.
Right there, though, because at the end of this, when Nevaeh runs in, it's to check on J-Hav and to run the heels off. But there was no moment between J-Hav and Nevaeh, because the business, if you're doing a tag team split up like that, is for them to face each other. So Nevaeh could have run in, J-Hav could have been on the cell, and Nevaeh picks her up, tries to get her up, but she thinks it's Emma and pushes her, and then is like, "Oh, I'm sorry." and then Nevaeh could have pushed her back or whatever, or just been on her ass and been like, what the fuck? And that would have been enough to start down that road of Havoc versus Nevaeh. But she doesn't. She just runs as an empathetic partner. So why wasn't she out there to begin with if we're going to go down that road of splitting them up? So we kind of could have tightened some things up, but we'll see what creative choices they make.
Well, going forward, we got Sammy Callahan. He sends in footage of himself at the Skull and Bones Academy, which is Trey Miguel's wrestling school. He's kind of going through the office there. He finds some memorabilia, some posters, some drawings of the Rascals. And he's taken Trey to school here, no pun intended, for being a loser that the other Rascals left behind.
Yeah, man, I liked this. We're back to the hacker look and the black and white as he goes in there and just fucks over students and everybody else, and then even gets in the ring with the lead trainer there, who's an indie guy. And you
got Conrad Kennedy and CK3.
Yeah, CK3. Thank you very much. I know I could think of EC3, but I couldn't think of CK. But CK, a legend for a lot of years and gets respect on the indies. But, this is Sammy doing good biz to help guys get on TV from Rockstar or the indies and whatnot and give them their shine. That's what kind of guy Sammy really is, bro. To like, I'm sure that was a big thing for CK to be like, that was cool. And CK cut a good promo in Sammy's face, and Sammy saying, you don't really deserve to be on, maybe you never deserve to be on TV, and you learn from a loser and all that shit. And Sammy fucks over guys with chairs and lays dudes out left and right. And it's a little wrestling, but it's cool enough. Then there's a run-in from this big Jack curly-haired son of a bitch. I can't remember his name, but he's an up-and-coming property, and Sammy tries to recruit him. So I'm sure he's like the number one prospect at Skull and Bones Wrestling Academy. But this was a good little, how is he going to fuck with Trey Miguel mentally? Well, let's take his top student and align him with me because I can give you opportunity, kid. That dude's not on my level. And in wrestling, it's the mafia. You'll stab your buddy in the back to get a spot, bro. So that's kind of the setup here. But it looked cool. Sammy was good, and this was good in the moment stuff. Good show, don't tell. I'm so tired of let's all stand backstage in a line and promo. This was action that told the storyline. Show, don't tell. So essential.
Our next segment here, we're going to Swingers Palace, correct? We're going to Swingers there. A lot going on here. We got TJP. This is pretty much a hype and a setup as we're moving forward with the X division and the champion now having a new number one contender. I guess it kind of lets you break down the craziness that was going on here.
So Ace Austin comes in and does the static wrestling promo, and TJP is cool in the cut, and and then Johnny Bravo as the dealer just keeps giving TJP like $10, and Austin's like, why is he doing that? And he goes, I better that you would say that. And then he says something else, and he gives him another 10. So it looks like the classic wrestling trope, predictable promo. And TJP looks in the moment and cool. Even though this set and this setup is, dude, I would love this if they actually invested money and time into it, but it just looks so indie ghetto. And I didn't even see Swinger sitting back there till he steps up and he's like, hold on, daddy, we're going to get odds on this one so the house can make some money. And in the background, I popped huge for this on the show more than anything else. So it's like, just a shindy card table and whatever. And on the wall, Swingers rats are over there. They show the one girl, she's got like the little black dress on and two like terrible tattoos over her titties, like just classic white trashness. So that popped me for Swingers rats. But Swinger gets up to give his little part of the promo, and the Swingers Casino sign in the back falls off the wall from the sticky tape that was on there, the backing, and nobody puts it over. It was just showed that this is as shindy as it can get. All I can hope that either that was an organic moment that it happened because this looks shitty and it made me laugh out loud hard, or somebody had a piece of string. So when Swinger gets up, they pull it and that falls down, which means they know it's shindy and they want to see shitty things happen in the background. And they're trying to do that. Either way, I laughed as soon as the sign fell down in the back and some production assistant got heat on him. Hopefully it was Cal Hero. But yeah.
We follow up that segment with we got another vignette backstage talking segment here. Eric Young is dressing down Diener for failing to put down his former tag team partner for good. Diener vowed to face the consequences should he be unsuccessful next time around. And Young is going to hold him to that because he does not want the disease to return.
It's interesting. This was a little jailhouse rapey, but it was interesting because first we get Diener and Eric Young, and Eric Young's dressing him down and Diener's staring straight ahead, not in a way of like fear, but as mind controlled, and that he's got to pay the price for it. And Diener agrees. He says, yeah, I'll do it. I'll take whatever. So then in comes Joe, Big Joe Doring, and fucking they go around the corner into the dark. And it's just, you know.
So I got this playing here. It's kind of got an eerie feeling to it.
Yeah. So they go in the dark, and then supposedly Doring's beating the shit out of them and went out in the back. But it also is like beat you down and rape you is like the incentive, like the underlying thing of that could be in your mind. You know what I mean? It's very Oz. And I like that. You know what I mean? It gives you that strange feeling of, am I going to see some shit here? Oh no, I'm not going to see it. But what I made it in my own mind is possibly worse than what's going on if I was to watch it on camera. It was all inferred. Really, they're in the back throwing chairs against the wall to make sounds and shit. But you know, it was good. Again, more show don't tell, but the actual shit that they couldn't show, or the audience gets to make up in their own mind. So your version of it and my version of it are similar, but they're our own worst, you know, case scenario. So this was a good trick too.
Oh, some classic cinema tricks there. Instead of giving everything away that we get today.
Right. And not in promos either. Just a little promo, then action, you know.
Well, Impact Wrestling, they got to pay those bills too, so they got to sell some advertising. The gang from AEW, the Forbidden Doors here, is Tony Schiavone and TK. They're back on the scene, and they're hyping up AEW Revolution, and of course, tossing fuel on that fire for everything that's going on between Impact and All Elite Wrestling.
I guess what is going on between them aside from some Good Brother shit and whatnot. And this is a hype promo that went on way too long. Tony is, you know, increasingly strange in every one of these. And I don't know, there's plenty of like weirdo moments and weirdo faces and whatnot. Now he's wearing sunglasses because I bet he's paranoid on how people see his eyes when they're all manic and shit and Adderalled up. So he's somebody's taking care of him to put, and they also put the jacket on him because he didn't know where to put his hands in a promo. So now he can just keep them in his jacket pockets and try and with his fist clenched, you know, and whoever is big brother in him to make him look less on the spectrum. That's a smart move.
You know, it's one of the issues with this. I mean, with so much excitement when the two promotions came together, and it has no real direction where it seems it's just about inflating a bunch of already overinflated egos. Kind of disappointing.
101, bro. You know, like what is Impact really getting from this relationship aside from Tony Khan buying promo time on their show and getting some extra money? Aside from that, it's just Callis and those guys jacking off for fucking New Japan 2012 and trying to put over some shit that doesn't mean anything so the Good Brothers can show up and they can all too sweet each other on a Bullet Club angle that jumped the shark in 2014. So they're still trying to recapture some magic that isn't real whatsoever. Instead of going, we were good enough to come up with that and get it over, let's come up with something all new and really rock the world. They're trying to live off and rape the dead corpse of Bullet Club for whatever reason. And the fans know it's flat as shit.
We've got here we go into the Good Brothers in Fin Juice versus Triple XL and Reno Scum. Looking through here, some of the highlights and the results here. The Good Brothers going over is, let's see, they get the pin here on Reno Scum.
Yeah, Big Luke Gallows comes in, House of Fire, kicks the shit out of everybody, looks super strong at the end. There was a couple things where people were waiting. He was waiting on some people to get some spots off, but it's Big Luke, and he was, you know, all over, and it's impressive when he starts running the ropes and Big Boot come back in with the clothesline when the timing's right. It was a little off. All these guys in this match are excellent, but again, this is more New Japan, wanking for no reason whatsoever. They're tying together Juice Robinson and Finley's son there, who have a ton of potential on them, who totally get it. You saw after Juice left WWE when he was the hippie character, which had potential too, then goes to New Japan and gets himself over with the promo. This kid's got all the skills to do what he needs to do, but it's time for Good Brothers to shine. So they go over on Reno Scum, who, are good utility guys. They're believable. They've got a gimmick. You give them a heel victory over somebody, they're made. And then you got AC Baby and Larry D, who are freak show big. You know what I mean? So, but in the end, if you're talking about clout in the locker room and big man going over, it looks good to have Luke Gallows go over on the two huge dudes, and the guys in Reno Scum are no pushovers either. So this was a hard hitting, shitty 8-man match out of nowhere. I thought we were going to get a big, some people call it a waterfall. We call it shotgun finish, where it's hit a finisher, roll in, hit him, then somebody else rolls in. Thought we were going to get that, but instead it's just a big sequence of Luke going off and fucking getting the W. So a good little match right here, but it just puts Good Brothers on top as the champion. And then at the end, they even called the spot, which was like, Good Brothers are standing there with the belts up, or like standing there for the spotlight. And then Juice and Finley like go by them to like get in front of them. And you see Gallows call that. He's like, go by us and take the camera, take the highlight. And fucking they do it just so Good Brothers can push them out of the way and raise it over. But they caught it all on camera and it looked fucking way called. And like, that's the problem with empty arena wrestling. A lot of that shit's going to get caught. You know what I mean? You can make that call on a house show, no problem, 10 out of 10 times. But on an empty arena wrestling, the beauty shot, upstage us, we're going to upstage you when you're calling that to them. Not the best look.
As we move on here, we have got, as we had seen earlier in the night, we've got the payoff here, the match. Brian Myers versus Eddie Edwards with special guest Matt Cardona.
Sorry, I just got to say one other thing on that too. Put over the Good Brothers. This is the difference between guys who are carnies and don't give a shit versus people who are marks for themselves and trying to get themselves over. So the Good Brothers will put themselves over in a carny way that's fucking tongue in cheek, right? And get themselves over. But as soon as they come out of the entrance, they're kneeling down towards the camera, showing their hat with a little new hats with little Good Brothers 99-cent stamp on there. They probably are making, 1,400% profit. The fucking Good Brothers shirt, he had a vest on, Good Brothers thing like that. As soon as they walk through, they're relentlessly shilling merch out of the fucking gate because they know wrestling don't mean shit. It's all about money and selling fucking merch at the end of the day, bro. So that kind of popped me before the match. Even like I go, there's the workers in the room. Did Reno Scum come out with their new t-shirts on? Did Triple XL come out doing something? Nope, right away. These guys are trying to make money as soon as the camera's on them. That's the difference between indie guys getting a shot on Impact and thinking that I've made it now versus guys who've been everywhere, know that wrestling's phony and full of shit. And at the end of the day, it's all about the paychecks and how much money you make. And they don't care about creative. They care about selling merch, bro. And
when it comes to the Good Brothers, we've seen what they have done with the Talking Shop of Mania. You had the Boner Yard match. Is it, as you mentioned, it's for them, they realize what wrestling has evolved to. They realize what this fan base, evolved, what this fan base has lowered itself to. And now they just realize we're going to tap these SOBs for every nickel dime they've got.
From whiskey to fucking hats to shitty pay-per-views that are wrestle crap. They don't care, dude. They're like, are they going to save wrestling? No. So let's rape the corpse as many ways as we possibly can on the way out, bro. And that's what those two do. And they've made a gimmick out of it instead of just doing it where they get caught being shady while they're trying to do the other way. They just leaned into it hard as fuck. And we're going, yeah, openly carny. This shit's phony. Let's fucking make fun of it and make money off these marks who are going to see it.
And meanwhile, you've got this new age fan base sitting there thinking, "Oh, this is great. They understand us."
They're laughing at him the whole way to the fucking ATM machine, bro. They don't give a shit about.
Because I mean, the numbers. I mean, just outside of the merch, the numbers that they did with the Talking Shop-A-Mania.
Good for them.
I mean, it's simply incredible.
And it's weird because I've stooged off my thing with Gallows where he didn't have, I don't think, animosity towards me. It was with Robert Gibson and the whole thing there when Gibby got fired. And I don't know 100% that it was him, but 95% sure for whatever reasons. But when Gallows and I have done other shows together, there's no heat between us. And he would come and train with Rip, and he likes Rip too. And he knows Carney when he sees it. So that's just the way it goes in this throat cut business. I don't really hold much against him, but I also wouldn't trust them when they walked out of the room either. From what they just told me, as soon as they leave, there's a whole nother conversation about that motherfucker.
So it's one of those things like it's great that he's being cordial, but you'd really get nervous if he started being overly polite to you.
Hey, dude, he's a real mob member. He gets it. Like, he fucking gets it. And you got to know that when you're dealing with him. If you're going to go do a sit down and good Briz Cliz with him and have a drink, you got to play that whole game of smiley face. But as soon as you leave, you might be getting motherfucked 3 ways to Sunday. And that's what pro wrestling is, bro. And that's what the mafia is. Like, you go for the sit down, you got to play by the rules. You might have a good time with your other brothers, but at the same time, there might be a fucking drive-by on your cousin for some shit the next week, and then you're going to feel some kind of way about it. You know what I mean? So it's real gangster shit.
Well, let's move on here to what I thought this, would have been the main event here on this episode, but we get Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, Cardona's guest referee, some hard-hitting action here. Conclusion comes when we've got Myers. He loads up the elbow pad, going for the roster cut. Cardona obviously sees this thing, and we get the DQ finish.
Yeah, this was a little weird. The roster cut popped me. Like, I rewound. I go, does this move called the fucking roster cut, which is like a running, I don't know if it's a sling blade or just a big fucking lariat, sit out lariat or something, but he takes something out of his knee pad and puts it into his elbow pad, but he puts it in the front, which you're going to hit him with the lariat. But dude, it looked like a piece of plastic. I go, dude, I wouldn't want to hit nobody on my fucking vein with a piece of plastic. Like, that would suck. Instead of like loading up the outside of the pad and doing a roaring elbow, a bionic elbow or something, or dusty elbow, he hits him with it. So it probably hurt fucking Brian Myers more than it hurt the guy who took it. But Zack Ryder sees it and fucking, he's like, bro, I just saw that. I can't do whatever. And we get that little static heat between them afterwards in the match. But man, Brian Myers wrestling with one eye and the eye patch, doing everything he can to be a heel and walking that line. Both of these guys get it, so I'm sure they have a whole plan of how they want it to go. I'm interested to see how it unfolds.
Then we do get to our
main event was the triple threat.
Triple threat. Before we get to the action, though, we get Purrazzo admitting that she was the one responsible for attacking your girl ODB last week. And then tonight, her opponents, they are going to fall into the same fate and feel the same pain.
Yeah, that was a little bit too much foreshadowing because Dirty's going to run in at the end. That was tipping our hand a little bit too much. I would have liked to have seen her deny it. No way. Why would I ever do that? I'm Deonna Purrazzo. I'm the champion. I don't need to lower myself to deal with somebody who's out there greasy in a food truck. Ew. Like, I wouldn't want to touch her.
Yeah, you think the virtuoso is above that? Right.
But instead she had cops to it. That was the wrong choice. That a heel wouldn't really want to admit to that. And then Dirty running in at the end would have been more of a surprise. and it had a little more heat than or a little more like payoff than what it did for Deanna's heat. So it's just choices. Don't admit to it. If you're a heel, deny. No, nobody who's a fucking murderer goes into the police station and questioning when they take him in and go, yeah, I killed that motherfucker big time. Right?
I watch a lot of those first 48s. I don't think I've seen that happen once.
No, you haven't seen nobody go, dude, stabbed him 16. You say 15? No, I stabbed him 16 times. Check the bottom of his foot.
Yeah. and you know that episode you couldn't solve the case on last year? That was also me. Let me take you over to the body.
Right. Exactly. So please pretend you're a murder suspect and you did it and you're trying to outfox the cops if you're a heel. Like, it's that easy, so we missed that choice. This match, I gotta say, dude, Big Mama Pump kind of led it, and she had people in the right spots. I was waiting for this to be a huge clusterfuck, and it wasn't. They worked it as a triple threat to get one person down and out of the ring so you could focus and whatnot. There was a couple phony things where it's when she does the dive, Trish Parker, whatever her name is, does the dive, and the girls are fighting on the outside. There's just some really bad, like, tink little fucking phony punches to set up for here comes the dive. They didn't need whatsoever. I got to put over Susan on the outside. Or Susie or Sue Young. Dude, she is in character all the time and really committed to the bit, not pulling focus, but when it's their time to like bitch and point fingers, dude, she was it made me believe for a little bit, and then they did some spots. But Trish Parker, poster workout things, and this week sometimes the camera adds 10 pounds. She must have been working hard because she looked a little bit in better shape. So did Deanna this round of tapings as well, from when they maybe 2 or 3 rounds ago kind of were a little too comfortable. You could tell the Impact locker room, they even posted, the guys anyway and the girls in there have really been pushing themselves in the gym. Everybody's there working out super hard, and that's really good, to build team morale, locker room morale, put people over. I see Rohit putting over cousin Jake and things along those lines. That's good shit, man. Absolutely. I don't like it in a kayfabe break, but I like to have my locker room strong and know that it's that way. And I felt like all the girls were really working together well in this because I was waiting for it to all fall apart. But in the end, we just it's
does it hurt the tag division having the main competitor, those top challengers kind of being put down here by the singles champ?
No, because the other girls are mixed tag with a legend and a singles wrestler, and then it's a steel victory, so it works, and nobody got hurt in the finish because Big Mama Pump lays out Kira Hogan, goes up to do the big Vader bomb splash. Kira Hogan's partner pulls her out to safety.
Steals.
Boom, she takes the bump herself, so it's super safe and impactful. Deanna slides in for the roll up 1, 2, 3 and a heel way to steal it. So nobody had to take anything impact. The baby had every intent, but the heel partner pulled hers out of way. Boom, she takes her own bump. Big heel slides in, doesn't have to do shit, steals a victory. That's a good finish, dude. That's
I would say really well put together. You've got that heat on your ultimate heel, singles champion, and you're continuing to do business between the tag champs and the challengers.
And a super safe finish. Believable. Nobody had to really take a bump. You could say, what's her nuts taking a bump is her own, but still that's the safest one you can take. So, you keep Kira Hogan strong and they're working together looking like a tag team. Babyface just missed. She had her where she needed to, but the partner pulled her out, and then the heel heals. I mean, dude, that's as basic textbook, keep it simple, stupid. And I couldn't have picked a better finish, to be honest with you. I thought it was really fucking decent. Now, I might not have put that in the main event though. That's the only thing. But then because we're highlighting the girls, the business they did afterwards with OD. So So right after that finish, Trish Parker and Tasha Steelz fight in the entry ramp they fuck off. And while Deanna's standing there watching them, Dirty slides in from behind, gloms Deanna, hits her, does the big titty grab, bam, and fucking stands there with the title. So we get that visual, which I don't know if that's the best thing, because people say this is a Joey Mercury 101 too. Don't hold up the title before you win it, especially if you're a babyface. Don't give that to them, because that's a moment on the pay-per-view for the first time when you hold the title up. So if you're a baby and you're holding it up earlier, the crowd has already seen that moment, and that's one of the biggest moments that way. So Dirty glomming her and hitting her with something and just standing over, do the double titty snap, it's bam, while she's laying there with the belt, would have been better, because when they get to the pay-per-view, if Dirty's going over, then that moment will be there for the first time she holds the belt. Small things, man. Very small.
There you go. You continue to learn those little nuggets that are dropped on you there. Of course, we've got Impact Wrestling Sacrifice that's going to happen just a little over a week away, March 13th. And that's where you're going to get this big match here.
I got
many others
down right here
in ODB.
Yeah. We got Rich Swann versus Moose for the Impact World Championship. Deanna versus Dirty Gimmicks. Good Briz will be taking on Juice and Finley. I think that'll be a very good match. I think all three of those matches will be great. Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz versus Jordan Grace and Jazz. I hope they can keep it simple like they did tonight, and they'll be good. And TJP versus Ace Austin. So they've done good story building all along the way for every one of these. It's not really a cold match out of nowhere. Getting to the pay-per-view, probably the best long-term storyline building we've seen in any Fed. Again, and only 150,000 people watching, and soon probably less than that, because NXT is going to fucking come and take probably a third of their audience.
Now, we still have the go home. We still have time to continue this incredible build for them. Right now, Ben Hamin, what's going to be the biggest take home from Sacrifice? Is it maybe thrown out there? Is it that Moose is the new Impact champion?
You got to put it on him, right? He just looks too incredible. Swan's had his run in there. He's done what he needed to, but the money's on Moose. I don't see how you can't. I think Deanna could go over on ODB, but putting it on Dirty's not a bad look either. Because if we have Moose go over, there's your heel. Dirty goes over as a baby. Good Brothers will probably retain over Juice and Finley, but that'll probably be match of the night, I think. Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz and Jordan Grace and Jazz. That's for the tag titles. I say put it on. I don't know. That's tough, bro. Like that. See, now you've got two babyface tag teams there, and nobody wants to. Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz got to be heels in that, based on it. But I was going to say, like, do you have them be the ghetto sweetie Megan Thee Stallion type, or do you just have them, do a straight wrestling match? There just isn't any heat in that. So I'm not sure which way I care about that going. To me, I put it on Jordan Grace and Jazz. There's no reason not to. Let Jazz have her little run on the way out here. And then TJP versus Ace Austin, X Division Championship match. I put TJP up. He's in the zone with the promos right now. Yeah, everything I've seen him do lately in the ring is opposite of that WWE 205 live video game bullshit no-sell style. When he worked his last two matches, especially I think the one against Suicide and the one against was it Josh Alexander? Yeah. Just like really awesome wrestling, like the octopus hold with a lot of variations and just really staying in the hold and making it look real. And a complete opposite, a very Tyson Dukes inspired performance by both of them. And I really want to see more of that from him. So when he breaks out his awesome shit of a spot, he only has to do it once a match, and then you'll be oohed and awed, especially while he's working all these holds. So I see TJP retaining there as well.
Very nice. Well, there you have it. The review for this week's Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you, RBV, jumping in here, dude. Again, hope Big Ray's feeling well, but thank you for running it down with me. A good show. This time around, a lot more continuity than I've seen in anything WWE wise. Again, where we just sit there and brutally wait for one brilliant thing. Everybody here is really trying to forward their business on a long-term storyline. I could have used the girls really going after Scott D'Amore, because I like those scenes. I think that was about the only thing we were really missing from this show, and less Tony Khan. But the more Tony Khan of those things, the further the end of the AEW experiment is going to be, bro. The more he exposes himself of what he is and who he is, it's not going to be a good look. The fact that he's going on these super mark fucking podcasts and trying to get himself over while he's also an NFL owner and now coach.
That's the other thing that just bothers me so much about it is how much he feels he needs to put himself out there. I mean, just do your job in this.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have any friends.
Well, what was he tweeting about? MSG had showed us that, where he said, again, he has had some serious talks with those close to him, and he is going to make he had to make a big decision and a big announcement coming tonight to a major change in a match on Dynamite. So
yeah, of course that's putting Big Show in versus Shaq. And like, somebody called and said, bro, you have to do this to convince him. And it was probably somebody who he marks out for. I mean, the guy's got autism, bro. Like, let's just say what it is. I'm not trying to down anybody or their kids who might be on the spectrum that way, but you also have to deal with them in a certain way, and putting them in charge of a multi-million-dollar company is probably not the best way to do it. Multiple multi-million-dollar companies.
Ben, it is Autism Acceptance Week.
Whatever, man.
It's also Irish Whiskey Day.
Yeah,
I know we can celebrate that.
For sure. We'll get a little of that in tonight as we come back here for the early show. We're going to be on at 7 p.m. tonight with Lord Jamar from Brand Nubian. I'm super excited about it. This guy's a hip hop legend. Tons of very cool things to talk to him about, and El Plaja hooked that up. So Conspiracy Horseman tonight live, 7 p.m., a little earlier than our 7:15, because we got to keep on his schedule as well. So, but y'all, man, you can go to thebrosters.com right now and get 33% more on 3-3 here for free all month long on the Vince Russo Bro coffee. You guys were such great buyers of that. They wanted to give away another 4 ounces to make it a full pound instead of the 12-ounce bag, and no extra cost to you guys, no extra shipping. So if you're going to re-up with the Brosters Russo Bro coffee, never a better time to do it than March, and never a better time to sign up for the Big Vito Band Patreon and also the A Show Patreon, because you're going to be entered to win on Big Vito brand an 8x10 signed by about 20 ECW legends, and also on the A Show to win the Young Bucks comic book signed by both Matt and Nick Jackson. For all new signups and all current signees will be entered to win that all through March. Sign up for both. You might win both. You never know. We appreciate Adam Rivera and yourself for getting that put together, that promotion. So, you guys, we want you to stay right here at Hamin Media Group and Russo Brand with the best shows in the wrestling universe right now, where the pros are pros. Just recorded with the beautiful people yesterday as well. Another awesome show there for Russo Brand and the Patreon, where Velvet Sky shoots on trolls who say she's bitter because she never went to WWE, and she talks all about every time she went to WWE and the behind the scenes with, maybe not Ace Austin, but maybe another Ace some bang, bang shoot going on there. So great shows all across the board, man, from everybody. And the new Rip Rogers podcast is up on patreon.com/Hamin Media Group. So everybody's just killing it, man. I couldn't be more proud of the production staff, of the community leaders, of the social media team, and just everybody who's becoming our advocates as we surpassed 2.3 million downloads this past week, man. So congrats to everybody.
Absolutely. We keep rocking and roaring into March. It's just what we do here at HMG.
Yeah, march on, RBV. It's Hacker Hamin, hackerhamin.podbean.com, haminmediagroup.podbean.com. It's the Impact Attack, the Binpact Attack with Big Ric Hernandez. Yeah.